drummers in the world.
I forgot what's his name. Black dude.
Yeah.
Buford Hayes, or is that the
I know
violinist?
his name. I know. He's whatever.
Good
He's
afternoon.
really talented.
One of the
Good
best.
Erev Shabbos, whatever it is that they say.
I got an Erev Shabbos.
See, Yaakov, you have to say a good Erev Shabbos Kodesh. That is the thing to say, which I try very hard not to say it.
Where'd you die?
Yes, I don't remember in the old days anybody ever saying that.
Nobody, I never heard it in my life till like 5 years ago, whatever.
If it's a minute schedule.
It's Yaakov.
Yes.
I sent over the chop piece to a couple of people here. First of all, Byron, like that was the first start. But I sent it over to a couple of people here, and they were asking, even if it's not a mitzvah, a hider in Leisha Sir Mimenu it is.
I'm already marved and everything.
Right. I hear. Okay, that's fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Very good. Put it down in the. I don't know how you fit into the sefer on brachas, but yeah.
No, I have a couple extra things at the back.
All right.
Yeah, I like Shabbos.
Okay, ready to roll?
You know.
Okay, what are we
So
up
it's
to?
also Negei and Yonah de Yoma because of Shalmei Simcha for Shavuos. There's no carbon Pesach. There's no whatever. They brought Shalmei Simcha.
Right.
So as a hider, they would eat pajamas on them.
I hear you. Right. Okay, but you're saying so then it's not with the. So then they're gonna make into the pacha. Okay. Okay, fine. We're getting into not regular hospital shilas now. As of course, you start shear, the hospital shilas. It's almost an automatic. Yeah. Okay. So, 3 lines down from the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Abaya Masader Marocha. Right. So Abaya, you got it. You got just 3 lines down. Abaya Masader Marocha Mishmei Gemara, which is an interesting lashon. Abaya, he made an order of the seder of what went on in the Beis Hamikdash every day from the Gemara. Meaning Gemara means from the way the Olam learned it. Right, we had this before, right? Way back, and I think where was it? Yeah, but I see Rashi says Mishmei the Gemara. What? Yudalit. Okay, so good. That's I remember Epis that we had it, so at least that was a start. Thank you, Doctor. So anyway, Mishmei the Gemara is that Rashi says the Kula Yeshiva de Rabbana de Bein Midrash. I mean, it sounds like the whole yeshiva. Sounds this is something that everybody agreed to, right? Valiba to Abashol, and it's all going according to Abashol because that's another machlokes that we had, right? That Abashol, how they split up the menorah, which we're going to see. Meaning they did 5. They first cleaned out five of the candles from the menorah, and then they went and they did the avodas, which is a machlokes, and then they did 2 more. Anyways, so marocha gedola kodemes la marocha shniya shaktaris. So there was 2 piles of wood on the mizbeach. There was a large pile that they burned everything, and then they had a small pile of coals in order to take the kataris. So first they set up the wood on the large pile, and then they did on the small pile. But and then remember we had those 2 pieces of wood that they put on. So that came before putting the kataris pile came before putting that on, right? And the being besada the 2 piles, the 2 blocks of wood is before the dishan mizbeach hapnimi. I'm sorry. Again, the shnei gzirei eitzim, the 2 pieces of wood comes before the dishan mizbeach hapnimi, the inside mizbeach. The dishan mizbeach hapnimi kaidon latavas chamesh neiros, and they did the inside mizbeach before the cleaning up the 5 neiros. Vatavas chamesh neiros kaidon ledam atamid. I don't know why the Gemara keeps repeating the last one, right? Why doesn't it just go in order? Just hatavas chamesh neiros and then kaidon ledam atamid. Right? If it says hatavas chamesh neiros and then hatavas chamesh neiros kaidon ledam atamid. Right? If the dam atamid kaidon latavas shtei neiros, and the dam atamid was before the 2 left, right? Because there's 7 candles, so they did 5. Then they went to do the dam and the korban tamid. Then they went back and did the other 2. But Tava Shnei Reis called the Kataris, and that comes the 2 candles comes before the Kataris. Kataris Kadon Leivarim. Kataris comes before putting the Eivarim onto the Mizbech. Eivarim the Mincha. Eivarim come before bringing the korban mincha. Right, that's the korban mincha, not the kohen gadol's korban mincha. The korban mincha that goes along with the korban tamid. Mincha the chavisin, and the mincha comes before the chavisin. That's the kohen gadol's. And chavisin the nesachin. The chavisin come before the nesachin for the korban tamid. When the nesachin the musafin, the nesachin come before the korban musaf. Obviously, that's Shabbos and Yom Tov, not on a regular day. Musafin the bazichin, and musafin come before putting the spoons of levina, right, on the shulchan, right? That's on Shabbos. Ubazichin the tamid shel ben arbaim, and then the bazichin for the tamid shel arbaim. Shenemar vehikter aleh chel v'hashlamim aleh hashtem kol korbanos kula. You bring makter on it to chel v'hashlamim, and on it the literal translation is on it you finish off all the korbanos. Meaning once the tamid shel ben arbaim is brought, that's it. You're done for the day. The shop is closed. Right? The Beis Hamikdash is closed for business, other than to burn the fats and the what do you call it? Yeah. So Amar Mar. So now we're going to go through all the psukim how we know this. Amar Mar Marocha Gedayla Kedemas Marocha Shniya Shel K'tayra. So the large pile of ashes comes of the coals comes before the second pile of coals. Minal, and how do you know? The Tanya Hi Ha'ayla Al Maikta Al Mizbeach Kol Ha'layla. Right. It's the Ayla on the Maikta. The Maikta is the place that it was burned. On the Mizbeach Kol Ha'layla. Zuma Rocha Gedayla. That is the large pile. The Eisha Mizbeach Tukad Bay. So Marocha Shniya Shel K'tayra. That's the Marocha Shniya of the K'tayra. So Gemara says ve'ipachana. Meaning the Gemara doesn't, the pasuk doesn't say. It just says maikta tukad. It says places that you put the coals on the mizbeach. It doesn't say which is which. So how do you know that the large pile comes before the small pile? That's what the Gemara says. Ve'ipachana. Why don't we switch it? Which is the original of Efshe Fakert. Right. That's the original kasha. Is that Mistavra? Marocha Gedayla Adifa. No, Mastama makes the large pile is better. Sheken Kaparas and Meruba. It has more kapara. Meaning most korbanos that were brought were put onto the large pile. So it's more chashuv, like we said yesterday. So Gemara says, Adarab, Marocha de Shniyad Adifa, that maybe the small pile is better. Sheken Machnisim Mena Lifnim. They bring the coals into the Kodesh Kedashim from the small one. So Gemara says, no, even so, a kapara meruba is better than that. Biva is saying, well, if they're not going to find wood from on the second pile, meaning the smaller pile, they're not going to take it from Marocha Gedayla. So you see that the Marocha Gedayla can even, it's potentially the coals from the Marocha or the Gedayla in the big pile can go into the Kodesh. So Mamela, we'll let that one go first. Okay, so that's how you know that the large pile goes before the small pile. And the small pile of coals goes before the 2 pieces of wood. How do you know? The Kayin brings wood, double lashon, right? In the morning. So that means that you put it on it, meaning aleha, on the big one, and the loy al chavarta, and not on the small one, mechlal, the isa lechavarta. So you see that there's already 2 piles. Meaning, if it's saying to put the 2 pieces of wood on it and not on the tzchaver, that means there has to be 2 piles of coals set up before you even put the 2 pieces of wood on. So therefore, the order goes: big pile of coals, small pile of coals, and then the 2 pieces of the extra special 2 pieces of wood. So the Gemara says, we need Allah to tell you that you have to put the wood on top of the pile. You can't put it on the side of the pile. Allah means you put it on top of the wood. So the Gemara says, Trey Allah, it says 2 Allah. So this, it says Allah twice. So therefore we have 1 Allah to tell you that you're going to put it down on top of the pile, and 1 Allah to tell you that you put it on the first pile, not on the second pile, meaning you put it on after the second pile is already set up. Fine. See the snake zero.
Why is this considered a drasha that we need shtei aleos? It's the taich. The taich is on it.
What are you saying?
It is specific. Why do I need shtei aleos? It's not the same. It's not a drasha like it's teaching us something extra. It's the taich of the word. The taich of the word is on it. It, by definition, means not something else. It's not a drasha, it's the taich.
No, but you can't say that. We had this a few weeks last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago. That sometimes the Gemara asks that you need an extra word to darshan, and sometimes the Gemara seems to ask not like that.
Yeah, but usually when the Gemara asks it, it's an actual drasha. This, I'm just clarifying why it needs to be an actual drasha. The taich of the word itself tells me it's not something else.
So, okay, but you need to darshan that it's going to be on the second pile.
That's what the taich of the word is. It's not a drasha.
I understand, but it's oleo. I mean, that's what the Gemara asked. Put it on top of the pile. No? And now we're saying there's another oleo to tell you that you put it on the pile when you have an option. There's 2 piles. There's a large pile, small pile. So it's saying that where do you put the 2 pieces of wood? You put it on the large pile. Now, it wouldn't have been a choice if you'd put it on the large pile before the second pile is there. So therefore, we're saying that there's a second pile, and then you put the big pieces of wood. Right? That's what I think. Okay, but again, it's drushes. Fine. Yeah, so Sidur Shnei Gzirei Eitzim Koydem L'Dishim Mizbeach HaPnimi. So putting the 2 pieces of wood comes before going to take separating the ashes on the inside Mizbeach. Right? Avagav Dahacha Ksiv Babayker Babayker. Even though it says here, Babayker Babayker, like we just said, Vahacha Ksiv Babayker Babayker. And here it also says Babayker Babayker, meaning they have to, the Aaron has to go do the Ketairis Babayker Babayker. Right? So then it doesn't, who knows which one goes first? Meaning, you think the one that says Babayker goes first, but it says Babayker by both of them. So Filu Hachi Machshir Adiv. The one that's a Machshir, how do we touch Machshir? Machshir, we had it in the morning, not in the daf.
Preparation.
It's preparation or accessories. That's what that was my Heidegger term, accessories. But okay, but
here it means prep. Here it doesn't mean preparation.
It's just preparatory.
Yeah. So it means to prepare. Yeah. It means to prepare, meaning it's not right. So meaning the ketairis, right, is better, right? Because it's gonna. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, the other one.
Right, the other one. That's the opposite.
It's an action
the 2 pieces of wood, right?
For a second.
Right. The 2 pieces of wood is helping you get wood to burn. So maybe that comes before. So machshir ma'iniyu. What is the machshir? Shnei gzirei eitzim. It's the 2 pieces of wood. But we said that the 2 gzirei eitzim go on the large pile, right? Meaning, what does it have to do with the ketairis? So Rav Yirmiyah shum eitzim, right? So I wasn't sure what this means. Shum eitzim, right? I mean, it has the name of wood on it. What? Because wood, you can't do the ketairis without wood, so therefore wood goes first. Is that what it means? Right? Meaning wood gets used for ketairis. So memela wood goes first, even though these 2 pieces of wood have no shaykhis to what you're doing for the ketairis. Right? I mean, it's guilt by association. I mean, havdil, right? Oh, it's wood. So memela wood goes first. Wood is more chashuv. Okay, that's what it means. Yeah. Ravina Amar, since you started with the pile, then you finish with the pile first. Right? So since you already started preparing the pile, so then you finish with the 2 pieces of wood that are going to be going on top of that pile. Fine. Ravashi Amar, if you're not going to find eitzim on the second pile, then what are you going to do? Aren't you going to take wood from the large pile? Meaning, if for whatever reason the small pile goes out, aren't you going to take wood from the large pile? The dishim is that's it. So that's what he's saying. So Mamela that has the 2 pieces of wood is part of the preparation for the ketairis, because theoretically you can get from the large pile stuff for the ketairis.
Is there a diuk here in the word eitzim? It doesn't say you would take gechal. They have to take wood that's burning, not rather than gechal.
No, I mean that you're going to get the gecholim from the wood.
No, I don't mean you. I mean the Gemara. The Gemara uses the word eitzim.
Yeah, I thought the Gemara means eitzim.
It used to be eitzim. Now it's cold.
Correct. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
It's not Pacha, but it'll be. Right? Yeah. Okay, let's see. And then doing the inside Mizbeach comes before preparing the first 5 of the candles of the menorah. My time. What's the reason? Amar Abaya, Gemara Gamirna. We learn it out from like we said before. It's what's it called? Sometimes Gemara Gamirna means it's halacha l'maishim misina. Sometimes not. But it's a Messiah, right? Svara lo yadaina, meaning I don't have a svara for it. Why that should come before the 5 candles? But Azayidis, that's what it is. Azayidis, that's the Messiah, right? For Rava Amar Keresh Lakish, and Rava says like Resh Lakish. Mitzvos, right? A famous klal, the most practical part of today's daf. You don't pass over mitzvahs on the Beis. What does that mean? When the kohen goes into the heichal, what does he hit first? The mizbeach paga bereisha. The first thing he hits is the mizbeach. The Tanya shulchan batzafan, the shulchan with the 12 loaves of bread goes in the north. Moshuch min hakaisel shtei amos. It's a shtei amos and mefza. It's 2.5 amos away from the wall, on the north wall. Menorah b'darim, and the menorah is in the south. Meshucha min hakaisel shtei amos and mefza, also pulled away from the wall 2.5 amos. Mizbeach memutza v'ayim be'emtza, and the mizbeach is in the middle, right? Memutza means in the middle. And it's standing in the middle. But it's pulled out, right? A little bit, a slight. Kima means slight. So Mela, since it's pulled out a little bit, the first thing the kohen's going to hit is the mizbeach. So Mela, there's a mitzvah to do on the mizbeach that comes before the menorah, because otherwise he's going to do the menorah first. He's passing the mizbeach, and then he's going to the menorah. So Gemara says, so why don't you put everything together? Meaning, why is the mizbeach in front of it's all in a row, right? The menorah, the shulchan, the mizbeach. But why is it pulled forward that you have this problem? So the Gemara says, since it says the menorah is opposite the shulchan, so they need to see each other, right? So in Mela, you have to pull the mizbeach forward a little bit so that the shulchan can see the menorah. So that's why we pull the mizbeach up a little bit. Fine. So Amar Rava, fascinating machlokes Rashi Tosfos here. Amar Rava, Shma Mina, mid Resh Lakish. We hear from Resh Lakish, Avure Dara Atoitafta Aser. By going past, Avure, to pass over the tefilin of the arm is Aser. Right? Meaning putting on the shel roish before the shel yad is Aser. Right? So heichi ovid, how should you do it? So midara l'tatafta, from the arm, and then you put on the shel yad, then you put on the shel roish. Meaning the way Rashi says pshat here is, what does it mean you're passing over? You can't put on the shel roish first, because basically let's say it's on a table, you have the tefillin on the table. If you would take the shel roish first, you're picking the shel roish off the table, going past your arm, and then you're putting it onto your head. So you just passed over the mitzvah of the arm. So therefore, Rashi says, put it first on the arm, then on the head. Right? To which Tosfos says that can't be pshat. It says, the reason why we put on the shel yad first is that's what the Torah says. Put it on your hand and then put it on your head. According to the way Rashi's understanding this Gemara, the reason why you have to put it onto your head first is because of ein mavir and ala mitzvos. So therefore, Tosfos says, and this is how we're noyig, that in the tefillin bag, it has to fit into, how Tosfos fits into the lashon is already not so simple. But in the tefillin bag, you put the shel yad a little bit in front of the shel roish, so that when you stick your hand into your tefillin bag, you don't reach your shel roish first, right? Because then you have a problem. Because then you got to put it down. Because l'maisa, you have to put on the shel yad before the shel roish. So even if you pull out the shel roish from the tefillin bag, you have to put down the shel roish and put on the shel yad, because that's what it says in the Torah. Masha'en came, if you have your talis in your tefillin, and by mistake you take out your tefillin before your talis, then you put on your tefillin before you put on the talis. Right? It's confusing. It's another one of the confusions. If you take out your tefillin before the talis, then you put it on before the talis. If you take out the shel roish before the shel yad, you can't, because since the Torah says you put it on your hand, and then the shora, and then on your head. So therefore, that's the order that you have to do it. Okay, fine. So then the Gemara continues weiter, about 8 lines down.
If everything is to the right, why is the yad is first? Why is that to the left in the back? Everything I'm asking is what we learned, right? Everything is to the right first.
What are you saying?
We learned everything. We go to the right first, right?
We go to the right, correct.
Where do you keep your tefillin shel yad? Which goes out first?
It goes on the right side. My Rosh Yeshiva
So
always
some
said,
do and some don't.
It goes on the left side.
put them in next to each other.
What?
Goes on the left side.
You're asking which came first, the chicken or the egg? Because when you're
Some
taking
do,
it off,
some
where are you
don't.
putting it? When you're putting it in the bag, when you take it off, where are you putting it? To the left?
Oh, you put the
You're supposed
shorashim
to
to
put
the
it to
right. You put the right.
Which
You
came
put the
first,
roshin
the chicken
first.
or the egg?
Okay, fine. You put the roshin first to the right. Okay, fine.
Well,
That's
I
why-
don't think it makes
okay.
a difference as long as when you take it out,
Okay.
right? Okay. So, no, we just did that. Right, doing the 5 neros comes before sprinkling the blood of the korban tamid. The damatomid kodim latav shtei neros, and putting the damatomid comes before the 2, right? So it goes. You clean off the 5, 2. Then you do the korban tamid, the blood of the korban tamid on his beach, and then you go back and do the 2. My time. What's the reason? Amar Abaya, ha'uba biker, the shnei gzirei eitzim, the loy trichi, that babiker of shnei gzirei eitzim, that we don't need them, right? Because the way we came up was that you don't need it there because you need to first do the machshirin before you do, right? Originally we thought it said it's from biker, and then we said no, it comes first. The 2 pieces of wood come first because the machshirin, right, the preparation comes before the action. So now we have 2 biker. So Abaya is saying we have these extra biker to tell you. So the lights richi that we don't need them for itself. Shadinu lahacha. So you put it over here. One you throw literally. One you put it on to say that you do the first tamid. That comes before putting the dama tamid. And one you put onto the dama tamid that it should go before the shtei neros. The lakadme the dama tamid. And one you put on to, meaning now he's explaining himself. One you put on to the tavas chamash neris that comes before the korban tamid, the hacha talasa, because you have, it says it 3 times now. It has babayker 3 times because it also says babayker by the menorah. So vahacha tray, and here you only have 2. V'chad shadji l'dam hatamid. And one you put on dama tamid, then that comes, the dama tamid comes before finishing the 2 neros, the 2 candles of the menorah. Afagav the hacha tray, even though there are 2 babaykers, the hacha tray, and here there's 2, right? Mechaper adif, something that has a kapara is better, and the korban tamid, which is an oila, is there for kapara, so that's more important than doing the menorah. That's the way Abaya learned it. So why don't we say it differently? Maybe one you put it to the clearing off the ashes of the inner mizbeach. That should come before the dama tamid. The hacha talas of hacha tray, because one has 3 and one has 2. And one you should put onto the dama tamid. That should even go before the 5 neros. The hacha tray. Even though that's both equal, one has 2 babaykers, and the other one also has 2 babaykers. But anything having to do with mizbeach is going to be better than the menorah. So why don't you say it that way? So one answers, Imkain, if suke, but my mafsakazlu, what are you going to separate the 5 from the 2 with? If you're going to do the dam on the mizbeach and the mizbeach apnimi before the menorah, then you're going to end up doing all 7 candles of the menorah first. Right? And we're going, like we said, we're going with Abba Shol, holds that there has to be a separation. So then, as the Gemara says, Hanichalaman the Reish Lakish, that's good according to, Hanichal Reish Lakish to Amar, that's good according to Reish Lakish, who says, Lam Matim and Chayzim Matim, why do we do 5 and then go 2? Kidei Lahargish Kal Azara Kula, because we want to make tumul in the Azara, we want to make it busier. So you do 5, then you run to the menorah, do 5, then you leave, go do the dam, come back. It makes a tumult. You put it into 2 mornings, right? So my ikal, and then what are you going to say, right? You have to do something between the 5 and the 2. So I'm sorry, my ikal. So what's right? So yeah, so that is Rav Papa's. No, that's a teretz. Meaning you're not going to. Yeah, it's a question, but it answers the question. It answers Rav Papa's question. What are you going to say? Meaning you're not going to have anything to do with in between the 5 and the 2, right? So Amalei Ravina. So Ravina says Amalei Ravina Rashi. Hi Babayker the Eitzim Mimi Yaser. Is the biker of the wood extra? But we need it for itself. The Kamar Rachmana, the Torah says, you should make a second pile of ketairos. Right? You should and you should put, meaning that pile should come before putting on the 2 pieces of wood. Meaning, he's asking now on the originally we thought the 2 pieces of wood. We need babayker. Then we said you don't need it because it comes before the ketairos, because that's machshirin. But we still needed it to tell you that you need to do it before you do the small pile. Fine. So Amrlei v'lami yokimna alei v'loy al chaverta. Didn't we say that aleh? I'm sorry. Didn't we say the word aleha v'loy al chaverta? Michlal de isa lechaverta. That means you know there's a chaverta. I don't begin to understand the Gemara's havamina here. Right? So, okay, whatever. So then the Gemara says, why are you doing 5 neiros first? Why don't you do the 2 neiros first? Again, another one of these questions, like why not do it the other way? So the Gemara says, no, since you have to start doing the menorah, once you're doing it, then you might as well do 5, which is roiv. Okay, so then why are you stopping at 5? Let's do 6. So why don't you do 6? Because it says when you make the neiros, then you should be makter it. So we know, and there's no such thing as neiros is plural, so there's no neiros less than 2. Yeah, fine. Okay, so that's why it's 5 and 2, and you need something in between. Next, and making the 2 neiros comes before the ketairos. It says make the neiros good. And then you go and then you makter. So clearly you do the menorah before you do the ketairos. Ketairos le'evarim, and the ketairos comes before the evarim, putting the evarim on the mizbeach. The Tanya yuktam davar shenemar by babayker. Anything that says babayker goes first. The davar shalai nemar by ela bayker echad bavad, which you do something that says babayker, which is the ketairos. Comes before the evarim, where it just says one biker, which is what we said before. The evarim the mincha, and the evarim go before the korban mincha. The tani minayin shlei davar kadin the tamid shel shachar. How do you know that you bring nothing in the Beis Hamikdash before the tamid shel shachar? Tamid loymar baruch aleha ha'olah, and you set up on it the olah. Rava says ha'olah hi olah rishayna. The olah means the first olah of the korban tamid. So therefore, that means that you have to be makriv the korban tamid before you makriv anything else. Yeah, okay, I guess let's stop here. I'm sorry if we went a little fast, and it's drushas, but yeah, at least we're getting a good education on the Beis Hamikdash. Fine. All right, 9:35 we said, right? 9:35. What's the Shabbos Bez Hashem? All right. Fine.
Shabbos.
Thank you very much.
Shalom.
Parents, what's with the minion?
Thank you.
We're on. Shabbos, what are we doing Yom Tov second day?
What are we doing Yom the first day?
What is your first day?
I thought you're not making a Vasika minion?
We have to see if we have. And about Kaira, we don't have a Kaira.
I have to see if Chaim can do it or not. He didn't give me a straight answer yet.
Let's see, I'll go. You Chief Rockaway boys, then maybe we should daven by Bubby with the boys. I mean, Gershon told me they're davening upstairs, downstairs. I didn't understand exactly what he told me. But they're staying up the second day.
That's not negay the second day for us. Let's do the first day first. What's with the first day? We have to figure out what we're doing. Either we're davening by Aaron or we're davening by Bubby, right?
Well, we have to have a minion.
Right, we're gonna have a minion by the share. The question is where we're gonna daven. We can stay
The
by
question
Aaron
is
and daven,
if we can get commitments.
or we could also decide that we don't want to daven after the share and go home, eat something, and go to sleep, and wake up for 10 o'clock. Or we can do shachris. You can do musaf later. That's what's no. These are all the choices from the rabbi. He said to do laning and musaf later. Also, when you have
I
to
hear
sleep.
that. I hear
So
that.
right, decisions have to. All right, what's with Shabbos? Do you need me or you don't need it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so if we come, okay, I'm not needed. Okay, fine. Mitchell, I'll see you, but if I'm mitzvah probably for sure. But we have to figure out Yontif. And I have my shver here for Yontif, so I have to figure that out also.
Feel for you.
What?
I feel for you.
No, I like my shver. He's all right.
I hear you.
Okay.
All right. Say
All right. Have a good Shabbos. I'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Shem.
Have a good Shabbos, everybody say.
Shabbos.
What time is Baruch Hu?
10 o'clock.
Baruch Hu is 10 o'clock? We're getting early.
Yeah, 10:27 is this month.
So Baruch Hu's not till 10:10. Okay. Okay. What is that? Parrots? What is that? Cigar?
Yeah.
Since when? I didn't know you were into cigars.
Backwards. All right, I gotta go grill.
Okay, bye-bye.